This is my definitive pile of poop. Good morning, afternoon, or indeterminate time of day to you, my friends on the internet. Brian here, and today I want to give you my impressions on the Transformers Combiner Wars Bruticus / Combaticons combination video that I'm just doing about the entirety of it. Basically, this entire wave is figures we had before, with the exception of Brawl. Onslaught is a remold of Hotspot and is, to be honest, the best version of this mold. So Onslaught is awesome. Blast Off is just the Firefly mold. I think he doesn't even have an original head. I think it's the same head. It looks okay. I'm fine with it. Vortex is just the helicopter mold we've seen billions of times before. The biggest pieces of news, though, for this guy, well, is Onslaught being actually awesome as a chest shield. The chest plate actually locks into his arms in a different fashion than Hotspot does. This tab plugs into that slot, and it actually locks everything completely into place. So this is absolutely great. I would love it if Victorion had used Onslaught instead of Hotspot for the torso. But since this guy and the entire wave is full of basically stuff I've already talked about, I'm just going to do one video about all of them all together and kind of just ramble on a bit about them. The articulation is the same for basically everybody. The combined mode articulation is the same as Hotspot, or Defensor, I mean. So there's anything terribly new here, with the exception of the two legs. Oh, before I forget, I recently got some Gundam markers, and so I was just messing around with panel lining. So I've panel lined my Bruticus's chest a little bit. All these black lines you see was done by me. Were done by me. For some quick size comparisons, here is the aforementioned Victorion. Thanks to Victorion's new feet, she's just a skosh taller than Bruticus. Here he is next to really the only other Decepticon combiner that they put out, Menasor. Well, I suppose they did put up Devastator, but I don't really want that one. Oh, also, my Menasor is just a little bit taller because I'm not plugging the waist panels into his legs, thus making his legs a little bit longer. And here is Superion, who is also doing a leg trick to be taller. I'll pick you guys up to see the height difference that I've got. Just by extending the bots on the legs, their legs. I've extended those legs, like I showed in the Superion video. That's why my Superion is taller than Bruticus. And completely not speaking about Defensor, there is Defensor. Currently, Prowl is stepping in for Rook, who I have off to the side because I'm going to be talking about Swindle in a moment. So Defensor is basically the same height, and given the fact that a lot of Defensor is already in Bruticus, that's actually kind of cool. They don't really look at all the same. I approve of the foresight that Hasbro had when making the Hotspot mold to be able to turn it into Onslaught as easily as they did. I wish they could have done something about the thigh plates, but hey, I'm okay with it. And of course, what Combaticon / Bruticus video would be completely without some sort of comparison to a small Starscream? Because, you know, Starscream made them in the cartoons, yay! So, here's my Shapeshift Inc. Sky Snake, the Fall of Cybertron Starscream, who's rather small. That actually doesn't look too... I like size dichotomies, and this does definitely tickle that fancy of Bruticus being huge. As long as we're comparing them with game designs, there is the San Diego Comic-Con Fall of Cybertron Combaticons with the Mobine Creations Military Titans upgrade set to turn it into a much better looking Fall of Cybertron Bruticus. Yeah, this still wins. This still wins. But one of the first third-party upgrade kits to come out was the Fans Project Munitioner and Explorer, aka a replacement Swindle and Blast Off for, what was this? The Energon, I think it was. Combaticons that came out like 15 years ago, a long time ago. Maybe a decade ago. Anyway, one of the very first third-party upgrade sets that came out. And now we've got a new Bruticus that probably could use some as well. I still would stick to this one as my classics, Bruticus, but that Onslaught is much better than this one. But I'm going to go ahead and break Bruticus apart and talk about the two exciting bits about him, meaning Brawl and Swindle. So, see you in a second. Now this kind of would be an interesting fight. I'm not sure how powerful Victorion is, but Bruticus is probably one of the strongest combiners. You know, besides Devastator, who gets far too much plot armor. The best thing about Brawl is that his tank mode looks really good. The turret doesn't rotate, but it does go up for combined mode. And he has the best integration of his hand-foot gun that really anyone has in the Combiner Wars. There's a little peg that you just saw me flip up. His hand-fist gun has the port on the bottom, so it plugs in very nicely. And you can rotate the thumb down. And that actually does not look awful and ridiculous. It doesn't look particularly good, but it doesn't look awful and ridiculous compared to like anything else. Beyond that, Brawl does not have too many redeeming features, which disappoints me a lot because I wanted Brawl for some customs. Continuing on with the discussion about Brawl, his robot mode looks really kind of dumpy. He has amazing feet. They are nice and, swivel joint? Yeah, multiple swivel joints on it to allow it for very good posability for the feet. His waist is just atrocious. I don't understand what was going on with this. I tend to actually just fold the whole thing up further than what's intended. It doesn't lock in anyway here, but at least it looks better from a front-on view. That's when I take him out of combined mode at all. His arms look stupid. His elbows are ball joints, so you can have some swivel on them. They can't really go out very far. They're on a double hinge, but that's mostly for transformation to allow you to go up and down for the various modes. I like that where the cannon ends up. His head reveal is actually kind of cool in that it's underneath the cannon. And other than that, no, this is a really kind of bad Brawl, which disappoints me a lot because Brawl is always high on my list of wants because I have custom characters that I want to make out of Brawls. So really, Brawl is why I pre-ordered this wave at all, because I wanted to see how this mold was. And I'm supremely disappointed. Swindle, however, is a remold of Rook, and it's an impressive remold. The machine gun has these two little notches on the back of it that allow you to plug it in to this little recess right here. Now, on Hounds, which I'll show you in a moment, I've gotten some kind of paint scraping on it, so it's a little bit of a scary tight connection, but you can do it. Swindle has an amazing head sculpt. Actually, let's show you Brawl's. Brawl's has a really good head sculpt too, if it's a bit thin. It is a bit thin though. But other than that, it is a really nice looking head sculpt. I do like this head sculpt. I don't love it, but I do like it. In vehicle mode though, back on Swindle, vehicle mode, compared to Rook, this is Combiner Wars Hound, who is exactly the same as Swindle. So I'm just going to use him to discuss the vehicle mode. The color scheme, by the way, you can totally swap the legs out on these guys, and it actually looks kind of good on both of them to swap in some green onto Swindle and some yellow onto Hound. I don't know, I found it to be a nice looking dichotomy. Anyway, the paint job on it is pretty good for an official figure, and the differences with Rook, as you can see, are actually rather substantial. Just about every piece they could have remolded, they did. The shins, the toes, the roof section, both parts of the arms, everything in vehicle mode looks different. So I wouldn't necessarily think these are the same figure when looking at them, and that just, wow, I love that. And this is one of my favorite molds. And Swindle and Hound, that's the reason why I have Hound, because I like this mold enough that, you know what, I don't have a Hound, I'll buy a Hound. I passed on Smokescreen, I passed on Wheeljack, very easily passed on Wheeljack. And comparing the robot mode for Rook to Swindle, they even remolded the chest, and okay, he's got the same thighs, different waist, same actual waist piece. By waist I meant this part of the waist. Actual waist is different. Basically everything is remolded on Swindle and Hound versus Oh, the combiner port's the same. How dare they? I gotta say, I do like Rook better design-wise, because I don't really like these pipes that Swindle has. I don't know. This doesn't wow me. This wows me. But, goodness gracious, they did a lot with remolding Rook into Swindle. And I really appreciate it. I like it a lot. So my final thoughts on the Combaticons as a whole. As a whole, Bruticus is okay. He's a pretty decent combiner that you get. Onslaught is actually probably my favorite torso out of everyone that I've messed with. I haven't messed with Skylinks because I'm going to pass on him because I don't really care about Skylinks. And I have no interest in doing a Skyrain. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I don't really have any interest in picking it up. Vortex is what I expected. Blast Off is okay. Brawl just is disappointment wrapped in disappointment and shame. Swindle is gloriously goodness. In fact, basically anytime I need to grab a Swindle figure for like any sort of pictures or anything, I'm probably gonna grab Combiner War Swindle. This is like my definitive Swindle. That's probably my definitive Onslaught. This is my definitive pile of poop. Yeah. This wave in combine mode is good. If you're not already tired of Combiner Wars, I wasn't too upset about owning this version of Bruticus, even though I've already got two better ones. This Swindle and that Onslaught were worth it to me. But I'm curious to know what you guys think about them. How do you guys feel about Brawl? Is there a better trick than what I do to get this waste to look not like crap? Do you wish a third party would replace Brawl? I know somebody's already doing Vortex. Not Vortex, Blast Off. Is anybody doing Brawl? Let me know. I actually don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think about these guys. So drop a comment down below and let me know. Hey guys, seriously, those of you who have subscribed to us and passed the word on us about it to your friends, you guys are wonderful for doing that for us. Your help is the reason this channel is growing, and we cannot do it without you. So thank you so very much. We love you guys, and you're the best audience we could have. Until next time, guys, may all your slots be on top of Brawls. I don't understand what that sentence means. I'm just gonna go away now. Just fade to black. Just fade to come on. Do the outro. Do the logo and the fade to black. There you go. Good job.